He rolled down the window. He reached his hand out. He wants to know the burial depth, but as he tried, mud poured in through the window. Terrified, he rolled it back up. He was still in shock. The sunroof began to crack. He grabbed some tape. He tried to fix the glass, but this thin tape couldn't hold the soil. He saw himself buried alive. Suddenly, he saw a tire iron. He picked it up. He jammed it against the sunroof. It worked. The sunroof held. It stopped the soil. He felt safe for now. He finally breathed. He relaxed, tired from the day. His mouth was parched. He grabbed his water. He drank it all. In a moment, then he realized it was the last one, but it was too late. No use regretting it. Might as well enjoy it. That's when he remembered his phone. He dialed for help, but buried in the mud, there was no signal. So he tried to start the car to force his way out, but the engine's noise shook the earth loose. The car shook violently. He was terrified. He gripped the seat tightly. Luckily, soon, it was calm again. After that ordeal, he stopped reckless actions. He sat helplessly, not knowing what to do. Just then, he saw his wife's birthday gift. He hadn't given it to her yet. He refused to die here. He moved to the back seat. He searched everything, looking for tools. But after looking, he found nothing useful. Worse still, no food or water. He couldn't last long, as he worried. He spotted, with joy, water seeping through a crack. He leaned in close. He drank greedily, but it wasn't enough. He took a nail clipper. He widened the crack, then a bank card. Folded into a funnel, into a bottle. He placed it under the leak. He collected water. He tasted it, a little muddy, but no strange smell. Water problem solved. He laughed happily, but his joy was short-lived. He found it hard to breathe. Oxygen was running out. He went to the back seat. He found an old tent. He pulled out a steel pipe. He poked it up through the leak, but halfway in, muddy water flowed through. He was confused and disoriented, but he thought of a solution. He took a bottle cap. He poked a small hole in it. Then he threaded a rope through and tied a knot. He fitted it into the pipe. The pipe was sealed. He thought to himself, "What a genius I am." Everything was ready. He grabbed the pipe. He poked it up again. He waited. No new cracks appeared. He pushed with all his strength. But suddenly, muddy water flowed in through the pipe. He backed away in fear. He pulled the pipe out. He took some newspaper. He rubbed it hard. He stuffed it into the hole. The hole was blocked. The muddy water stopped. He couldn't accept failure. After all, his survival depended on this. But just then, he saw the water bottle again. He unscrewed the cap. He poked a hole in it. He threaded a thin rope through. He tied a tight knot. He pulled it tight. He secured the cap. He threaded it through the pipe. The hollow end was sealed. Looking at his work, he laughed out loud. He got back to work. Following the steps, he inserted the pipe again. As he went deeper, it went smoothly. But soon, he stopped laughing. The 1-meter pipe was almost gone. The burial depth was much greater than he thought. He took another pipe. He repeated the process. He used wire to connect them. He joined the pipes. Finally, he taped them firmly together. This time was harder. He pushed with all his might. He was on his third pipe. He knew his situation was dire, but it was too late to turn back. He had to speed up, but in the confined space, oxygen was low. He was physically drained. Soon, he was short of breath. He used a jack to push the pipe. With the tool's help, efficiency improved. He could rest for a moment, but soon, another problem arose. The jack was at its limit, but the pipe didn't reach the surface. He wrapped a towel on his shoulder. He lay under the pipe. As his body rose, the stubborn pipe began to disappear. Suddenly, the pressure eased. He stood in disbelief. After catching his breath, he bent over, panting. He had to be sure. His life depended on it. To test it, he fed a wire into the pipe. With every inch, his heart pounded. He felt resistance. He pushed upwards. The feeling was like a week of constipation, suddenly relieved. He pulled the wire out. He put his face to the pipe. He looked up. Through the hollow tube, he saw hope. He breathed the fresh air, even just a little. Still, It felt like nectar. However, his smile quickly faded. He shouted his lungs out, but got no response. His voice grew hoarse. Then, not thinking clearly, he lit a newspaper. He wanted to signal with smoke, but this action was a mistake. He failed and made a mess. He put the flame out quickly, but thick smoke filled the car. He coughed violently. He covered his mouth and nose. Luckily, the smoke vented out. It saved his life, but bad news kept coming. The pipe was sinking. The outlet was blocked with soil. Realizing the danger, he turned quickly. He reached for the wire, but the pipe fell behind him. When he turned back, he wasn't careful. He was badly hurt. The pain made him struggle. After a moment, he took off his coat. He bandaged the wound, but problems kept coming. His intense shaking disturbed the soil above. The roof was crushed. In this crisis, he used extra pipes to prop up the roof. Danger was temporarily averted, but he knew he couldn't stay. Death was certain. So, he drank the last of his water. He got the spare tire. He connected the air tube for oxygen. He took off his clothes. He covered himself in oil. He was ready. He removed the lock plate. He picked up a pipe. He smashed the sunroof. Mud poured down. He turned away, scared. He feared being buried. Luckily, soon, it was quiet. Seeing this, he cleared the broken glass. He hung the tire around his neck. He started digging upwards. When he couldn't breathe, he sucked on the air tube. As he dug more soil, the car filled up, almost full. He had no way out. He encouraged himself. He must persevere for his wife. But as he finished speaking, an accident happened. The mud shook violently. Before he understood, he was buried again. Luckily, not too deep. Soon, his head emerged. He wiped the mud from his face. He found he was still trapped in darkness. He screamed in despair, but he didn't give up. He used his hands. He dug with his bare hands. He didn't know how long. A ray of light shone in. He smiled happily. He knew his effort was not wasted. With a tenacious will and never giving up, he climbed out of the earth into the sunlight. Don't give up easily. Persevere. Success may be near,